Okay, well, hello everyone. This was somewhat short notice, so didn't really know about this until just recently. But I wanted to come here and I wanted to speak to your council and bring some awareness to everyone that I can talk to about what happened to myself and my daughter on June 11th. Again, my name is Brian Hund, and I'm here this evening with my daughter Brianna Hund, and I'm here to speak about a truly despicable and an illegal event that took place in my home on the south side of Pueblo on the morning of June 11th. This crime that I'm speaking of was committed by none other than Officer King of the Pueblo Police Department. On the morning of June 11th, my daughter's now ex-boyfriend had come over to my home to talk to her about an issue they were having prior to that day. After he arrived, I sent him back to talk to her. I heard voices getting louder, yelling, and went down the hallway to see what was going on, and what it had ended up being a physical altercation from the two of them, and then he left. I had him leave, and as he left, he was calling 911. Shortly after this, 3 police officers arrived at my home, and I explained to one officer what had just happened. He then told me to turn around, place my hands behind my back, and placed me under arrest. Then there was also a female officer there, Officer King, and she went down the hallway and placed my 17-year-old daughter under arrest as well. I told the officer that arrested me, I said, okay, if you're gonna place me under arrest, would you please lock my door at least? He didn't do so. I did not find out until later that he didn't do so. So my daughter and I, were taken out and put into 2 separate patrol cars. My daughter and I were then both just taken to jail, never even being read our Miranda rights. Now this is where Officer King gets in. She's in the 3rd patrol car, and she stays behind. After we're long gone, we're going to jail. And as she's seen talking on her cell phone, walking back and forth in front of my house. And this is all via my home security cameras. Just a minute after this conversation of her on her cell phone, the perpetrator, Nathan Julian Lucero, drives right back up to the house and immediately exits his car and walks right over to Officer King, and they begin talking. Then an unknown female driving a BMW station wagon that had followed Nathan back to my house, parked behind him, and she then approached Officer King, and those two began talking like they knew each other. From what I observed and from what I know, this person was Nathan Julian Lucero's aunt, Nisa, and she's also a police officer. Aunt Nisa now stayed outside and kept watch as Officer King and Nathan went back into my house and robbed me and my daughter blind. They stole approximately $1,000 worth of my personal property and my daughter's personal property, and it's all caught on camera. Nathan Julian Lucero is seen going back and forth 3 separate times, carrying armloads full of items, stuffing his trunk, and then stuffing his back seat. All the while, Officer King and the other unknown female driving the BMW station wagon are just meandering around in the front yard having conversation. And the reason I know, because the position Officer King was in, she had her hands in her pocket and she was swaying back and forth, totally relaxed. So they did know each other. Now, shortly after this happens, after Nathan was allowed to steal everything he wanted, Officer King and his unknown female waved their goodbyes. Okay, because let me back up. He's also seen on camera. He's also seen on camera breaking into my daughter's Acura, and he's seen stealing more items out of that after he robbed my house. And this is the entire time Officer King is right there with his other female and just allowing this to happen. And they're having casual conversation in the front yard, watching this crime to happen. Now, after Nathan had been allowed to steal everything he had wanted, Officer King and his unknown female wave their goodbyes, and then they all leave. Nathan is even seen on camera as he's in the process of stealing these items from my house with a big, huge smile on his face. The trauma that my daughter was put through from this, and now the massive legal bills that I've incurred because of this, the stress and the anxiety that my daughter and I have both been forced to deal with every day because of these corrupt Pueblo police officers, is not only direct violation.
Thank you, Mr. Hund. That concludes your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Have a good
Thank
night. Thank you.
You too, sir.